not that.
All right, we'll start. So, you guys fill out the survey. Anyone have a guess about what my project is? Yeah.
The phone.
Yes, it's a phone. So, I built my own phone. I'll tell you guys about how I started it, how I got the idea, and I'll show it to you. And then, I think that trips to that. So I got the idea, I want to say like 5 months ago. If you don't know me, I'm Colin. I'm a 13-year-old. I go to Fisher. I'm an 8th grader. And I like to build random things. And so, I had an idea to build a phone. And it was going to be a touchscreen phone. Has anyone heard of the Raspberry Pi? Yeah, so it's a small little computer. And so I was thinking of using that with a touchscreen and this other board, and you guys probably all know the Arduino too. Yeah. So use that plus this thing called the Feather Phona, which is a small Arduino board that also has a SIM card. If you don't know, a SIM card basically allows you to connect to a cellular network and make calls. So I was going to add all that together with the touchscreen and have a working cell phone, kind of like the ones we have in our pocket, except it'd be about an inch thick. The problem was, well, the Raspberry Pi gave me lots of problems. Things weren't really working out, and so I kind of put that project on hold for a little bit. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had an idea to start the project again. Except this time, I was going to go with a more traditional cell phone design. You guys have all probably seen the one with numbers. So no touchscreen, just a small little 1-inch screen with some buttons to make calls. So I went to this camp called Maker Nexus, and they have these big machines. I'll show you an image of one right now. They're called laser cutters. Basically what they do is they have a large laser that like this, and it cuts through material. And so that is how I made the case to the phone. And then I got the components working with it, which I'll show you in a sec, and put it all together and have the phone. So I will show you the phone right now. It has this box here. So this is the phone here. You can all see. This is it in the box at least. It's called the phone by Mako, which is the name as you saw on the survey. And here's the phone itself. So what you can do is you can turn it on. And if you notice also, the borders on this are black, and that's because the laser cut it. And when a laser cuts, it technically burns through the wood. And so that's why the edges are somewhat burned. I also used a laser to engrave the M for Mako on the back, and numbers 1 through 9, call and end buttons. So you can see it's now booted up. If there's an easier way to show this up here.
Do any of you want to call in to make sure it's
Yeah,
real
so
phone?
I'll just go through the software real quick. So let's grab the image real quick. So if you can't really see it, here it is full screen. There it is. Alright, so here's the phone. It has a few things on the front screen. It has time here in the top left, kind of like your phone. It also has a battery, which we're at 64% right now. The battery on this lasts a really long time. I left it on for a couple of days like this on, and it was still alive when I get back to it, so battery lasts a while. You can call people, so if I hit the number 1 here, I can type in whatever number I want and call someone. Has favorites, so here I have my mom, our home phone, me, and my dad, which I can just press. Let's say I want to call my mom's, the home phone. I just press 1, and here's the number, and I can hit call. And then finally the radio. So if I hit 3, I get a radio, and I have 4 options. And you can play the radio. The only thing is it doesn't have an antenna for a radio, so you're only going to get static. But in theory, if you add that, you should be able to play radio. Now if someone wants to call it, someone have a phone that wants to call it? Yeah. Alright, so I'll give you the number. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Alright, 669 232 56. Actually, take that back. Sorry, 75 92.
I feel like I typed it in wrong.
669 232 7592. Yeah.
Okay.
Better.
Yeah.
Alright, give it a sec. Now, if you don't know, this phone uses 2G services, which is in the first iPhones, if I recall. Hello?
Hi.
And yeah, so you can totally call on it, you can totally talk. Completely works for a phone. Now, like I was saying, it uses something called 2G, or also known as Edge Network. They're a little different, but basically it uses the same technology that was in the first iPhone, which was over 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. So the technology is pretty old, but for this purpose, it works just fine, since you're not going to be downloading Instagram stories on it. So, my goodness. Right, what else? So yes, now I showed this to my friend. So if you don't know, I have a friend named Ryan Goldman, and he designs websites with me, and we've been designing websites for about a year now. So I showed him this idea because I thought it was pretty cool. He thought it was pretty cool. And he's like, well, you know, let's turn this into a company. Let's actually try to sell these. Let's actually try to make this a kit that you can buy online. So we're starting to work on just that. Have you guys ever heard of Kickstarter? So if you don't know what Kickstarter is, it's basically a really good platform to propose your idea, if you have an idea, and basically share it with people. Now, our goal right now is $8,000. And you set a goal, and if you reach that goal by people backing the project, you'll receive the $8,000 or more, depends on what your goal is. Now, if you don't reach it, you don't make anything. Everyone gets their money back. But it's just a great way to try. It's more of a risk taking. You take a risk to try to start a company. So that's what we decided to do here. This is our 4th day on the Kickstarter. We've had 9 people back it so far. We have $909 raised out of $8,000. So we've been working on the company, and I will show you the code in here real quick, and then I have some cards for you guys if you guys want to help this become a reality. And technically, I guess, once you pledge money for it here, if you pledge $130 or more, you'll actually get the phone in October, if we reach the $8,000. Otherwise, you get your money back. It's like nothing happened. I'll run through the code briefly. So you guys, I'm not going to go in detail, but here's the code for it. There's quite a bit. So this part here is just getting that image at the beginning where it says Mako software. This is just setting up the keypad here and the time. Now here is where we're setting up the screen, getting it set up, and basically booting into the phone. All that. Here we're just getting the battery percentage, getting the date. This here is for text messaging, which we're working on right now. So currently you can only call people with this phone. You can't text. But we're working on it so you can text. It'll be old style where you hit the 2-3 times to get the letter C, but it should still work. So that's the message. This is the time, getting the time. It takes a lot of code to get the time. And then this is how to enter a call. This is the enter the phone number. Hanging up. This is your favorites. Here are the radio stations. Just find your pages. This is when I'm press the key, and the main menu. And then finally here we're just looking and getting the battery percentage every 10 seconds. So that's the code. I'll show you the inside of this real quick. Here's the inside of the phone. Well, there we go. So, phone has a few main components. You can kind of see them all on here. First off, we have the power switch. This is how you turn on the phone. We have our speaker here. This is how you hear. And the reason why it's at the top, some people think the speaker is at the bottom. When you're holding the phone, the speaker's going to be right next to your ear. The microphone's here at your mouth. You have this huge battery here. It's 2,500 milliamps. If you don't know what that means, basically saying it's bigger than most batteries in your phone right now. So it's a pretty large battery, but and it's totally oversized, but it was just cool to put in. We have a charger here, This uses micro USB, so if you're using an old Android phone, you'll know what that is. Up here we have a small 1.3-inch OLED screen, this small screen here, and then this, the blackboard here that you see is called the Feather Phona. So, let me do this real quick. This basically is a great board if you're trying to make a project that uses cellular or something. And it has a connection for the battery here. You have a connection to plug into your computer here. And here is where you plug in your SIM card. And with that, you can make calls with it, and that's what I'm using. And it also has a built-in Arduino, so you don't need an extra Arduino board to connect to it. So it has all the ports on here. It has analog ports, digital ports, almost anything you can think of that you want for cellular. So it's a really great board. All you need to do is get a battery for it and an antenna, and it should work. So back here, you can see the microphone here, this big silver thing, and then behind this board, there's it's hard to see, a green board, and that's the keypad. So that's basically what's registering all the presses. So it has 12 buttons on it, and when you press one, it inputs the number on here. I think that about sums up the build of the phone. Does anyone have questions about it? Yeah.
Which programming language did you use?
So I programmed this in Arduino, and Arduino uses C++. It's kind of more of a custom version of C++.
Oh.
So some things are a little different, but if you know the basics of C++, Arduino isn't that hard to learn. Now I'll quickly tell you about the kit. So I'm trying to make this a kit that you can buy for about $130 online, and you'll receive everything that you need to build your own cell phone. So it comes with a pre-programmed Feather Phona, which is the motherboard. You get to build the keypad for it. You get to glue in all the keys. You get to glue the case together. And the cool thing about this phone is you can do almost anything you want with it. You can paint it whatever color you want. You can have your name written on the back of it by a laser. Okay, what other things did I have on here? I had... Yeah, so you can add sensors, and sensors from Arduino. You could add a light sensor. You could add a, you could have the microphone see how loud it is in the room. You could add another light to it if you want a flashlight. You can do almost anything you want with it. You can also edit the code. The code is free. So if you wanted to, let's say, add the ability to automatically text, I don't know, you could do that if you want. And finally, you can make your own case. So we're going to give everyone the dimensions of the whole phone. So if you wanted to, let's say, 3D print another case, you could totally do that. So that's the idea with this phone. It's going to be a really cool kit that you can buy for about $130. You get to build your own phone, customize it however you want. Anyone want to have any other questions? Any questions?
How much does it take you to make the kit?
So, oh yes, time-wise. I'll go through all the questions. So time-wise, this took me 5 months just because I went through like 5 versions of trying to build it, and also like 2 versions of this case. So in reality, it should only take you between a couple of hours to maybe a day or 2. So it doesn't take that long. It's not that difficult. The only part that takes a while is the keypad, since there's quite a bit of soldering. But once you do that, everything's pretty much done. Although the cool part is that you can add whatever you want. So if you're like, you know what, I'm done with the phone, like I built it, you could add whatever you want. Yeah?
Are people going to need their own, like, heavy tools at home to build it?
So tool-wise, funny thing is, you don't really need many tools. You just need glue and a soldering iron, and that's about it. So soldering iron is, if you don't know, it's almost like a pencil, except it has a metal end, and the metal end heats up to about 700 degrees, and it's used to melt a certain type of metal. It's called solder, and it basically allows you to make electrical connections. They cost about $5 online, so pretty cheap, not hard to get, and then most people have glue, so you could just put the case together with that.
There's a question.
Yeah.
Why is it called by Mako? What is Mako?
So Mako software is the website my friend and I have where we design websites. So we just went off that name since we already had the name, already had the company. Just made it simple and just basically trademarked the name instead of making a whole new company. So, yeah. What?
No.
Any other questions? Now, if you guys are interested in getting a phone kit, I have cards here that I can pass out. It has our website on it, which you can go here, and you can see our social media, and also you can back it on Kickstarter, which brings you to this page, where you can just hit back to this project, click the phone you want, and then just hit continue. You can check out. So if we do receive $8,000 or more by July 25th, then if you order the phone, you'll receive it, and the phone should be out in production in October or November, and you should receive your phone by then. So yeah, I think that about sums everything up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I have cards here if anyone is interested. So yeah.
Alright. Feel free to you guys can, if you have any other questions for Colin, feel free to talk to him.
If you want to call it too, you can do
If
that.
not, you can
We'll
take
have it on
a
for
10-minute
5
break.
minutes.
We'll come back at
Yeah.
3 o'clock. Thank you guys. Pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.